Hi everyone, it's Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters and thank you for joining me for another Scraptember video. Welcome to day 10. So as you can see, I have cut this super cute hexagon cut file that I got from Confessions of the Paper Addict. And I am popping a little bit of gesso underneath just some certain hexagon spots, not obviously the whole thing. I just want to add a little bit of interest to the page. I just felt it was a little bit sad and lonely, so I wanted to dress it up a little bit. So I am going to add a little bit of mixed media in the form of acrylic paint to a few of the sections. I'm using the collection that is called rattling around here. It's Simple Stories and it is called Little Dude, which is a super cute collection and I have not used very much of it. Sorry, I probably got really loud for a second then when my mouth got closer to the microphone, so I apologize for that. So I've done all my gesso and then I've gone and collected my paints and I've chosen about 4 different colored paints in matching colors to the sort of the theme and the style of the Little Dude collection. And I'm just splodging on those colors in random spots. I'm not waiting for it to dry. I'm not cleaning my palette knife. I'm kind of just, I want it to mix together, but I also want the colors to stand out in their own right. I was going to leave yellow for last because it's the lightest color and I wanted to make sure it was on top, but realized that it's probably nicer to mix it before it's going to turn an icky brown because it mixes with too many colors on the palette knife. While there was only red on the palette knife, it made a nice little orange. So I'm going to roll with that because there is quite a bit of orange in this collection. Now I'm going to pop on some green. Now, while I'm going ahead and splodging my background, I am going to mention our other wonderful Day 10 participants. Of course, we've got Laura Alberts joining us because this whole collaboration is with Laura Alberts. So, of course, she will be joining us every single day of the month. So make sure you check the description box for links to her video over on her channel. But we have the fabulous Danni joining us today. And my good friend Danni is joining us on this hexagon prompt. So I will definitely link her layout down below. And if you haven't already, but I'm sure you have, you would definitely want to go and pop over to Danni Vee on YouTube, DANNIVEE over on YouTube, and become a subscriber of hers and check out all the amazing things over on her channel. Lots of layouts, lots of layout shares, lots of process videos, and all of that happening over there. So yes, definitely check out the description. In the description box, I will also put a link to Copa cut files. So in case you're interested in the cut file that I used today. And then yes, the items that I used are from Simple Stories. I think that covers just about everything. Let me know if I missed something and I will very happily give you that extra info as I see the question or see the prompt. So, are you following along with our Scraptember this month? Are you playing along? I know what I forgot to mention. We have a Scraptember community group. If you would like to join that, I will also pop that in the description down below. That is for people who might like to play along and get a reminder of what these prompts are at the start of every day. Gives you plenty of time to work on it. The prompts obviously also stay there so you can check back in with the prompts and do them at a later time when you've got a bit more time and energy to work on them. You can also skip the prompts that don't really suit you and move on to a different one. You can see inspiration from the other people doing the prompts, not just the 3 people that we've got here. So yeah, it's a really great little group to come and join in with. So I'm going to add that to the description box as well. I've got a lot of things to put in the description box. Where I got my cut file, the link to Laura Alberts' layout, the link to Danni's layout, and the Scraptember Facebook group. So make sure you pop down to that description box down below just so you can check it all out. Now, back to my fantabulous layout. So you can see that I finished my paint swatches. I glued my cut file just directly down to the page. I went ahead and matted all my photos. Now they are cut in the exact shape and size of the hexagon holes. I could have matted my photos using the like the hexagon offcuts of this cut file, but I actually used all of those for an alternative layout, so they were already gone. So what I ended up doing was tracing the hexagon shape onto the back of one of my photos and cutting that out, and then using the photo to trace all the others just so I could see where it was going. So I knew exactly I was placing it in the right spot. And then I matted all of my photographs, and I matted them on a white mat and an orange mat as well. Hence why with the paint swatches, I wanted to make sure I used the red and the orange together. And you can see already how I'm actually covering up 90% of that paint, which sounds like a shame, but you can still kind of get that pop of color showing through underneath, which was sort of the highlight, I think, of drawing your eye towards those photos. I then have also gone ahead and popped on my title. So the Seriously is a old Amy Tangerine an old Amy Tangerine thicker. It's from a long time ago. I think it might be maybe a Dear let me check. I was about to say Dear Lizzie, but she has lots of Dear Lizzies, so I need to be more specific. It's called Today, I think. I'm holding it in my hands. I think it's called Today. And then the U Rock is like a glittery kind of foam, and it was actually from the Reject Shop here in Australia. So that is a craft store brand, but I do believe that will all be Rosie's Studio. So now I'm having a play with my ephemera, and what I want to do is pop a little cluster with each of my little photos. I am also trying to represent the colors. So I want to make sure there's a little bit of black. I want to make sure there's a little bit of blue and some orange and some green. I'm really just trying to make sure each of those colors are represented somewhere in the clusters, because I've already highlighted those by using the paint swabs. So I just want to make sure I am, continuing to use those same colors in the rest of the layout. So some bits and pieces are going to be stuck up on foam, some will be stuck directly down onto the page. I often use a mixture of glue and double-sided tape. I find glue is a lot quicker, but obviously it's a little bit more slow to dry. So it really just depends what I'm adhering and where I am adhering it to as to which I tend to use. And I really have no consistency with my choice. I just pick at the time, I make a decision at the time which one would suit better. So you can sort of see there's like a black element in every single cluster. I've got the To the Moon and Back, I've got Let's Go on Adventure, and I've got the arrows, and they're kind of my little black element in every single one. But then the other bits and bobs do vary, and I think that sort of helps draw your eye to each of the different clusters, because you want to be like, oh, what's going on now? Oh, and what's happening next? Which I think is a really nice factor, because I did also do my photos in up the top in clusters of 2, well, everywhere in clusters of 2, which is kind of unusual because you often don't talk about doing things in even numbers, but because there are 3 clusters of 2, it works out because they're in odd numbers. Oh, now if anyone was wondering about my photo size, obviously I don't know exactly what size the hexagons are, but I originally printed my photos in 3x4s. Just that's the easiest way I could do it to fit that many photos on a page. And if you are a long-time follower or watcher of our channel, you will know that I actually pretty much exclusively print in 3x4 size now. It just gives me the freedom to fit a lot more photos onto a page if I desire, because sometimes I do have quite a few. I don't think I've done a six page in a while, but yeah, I often have more than one. I often have 2, probably at least 2. Using the Liquitex white acrylic ink now, obviously I splattered beforehand with the Heidi Swap Color Shine in black. This Liquitex is gorgeous and it's super lovely, but you do need to pull out a brush to be able to flick with. It doesn't have, it's got a little eyedropper inside, but it's not very little. It's quite fat. So if you're going to try and splodge with your eyedropper, you'd end up with some pretty hefty puddles on your page. Then I'm basically done. I am digging through that little blue box you can see in the bottom left-hand corner that I'm rifling through over there is where I keep a lot of my enamel dots, but I really have not very many enamel dots. I've got a ton of rhinestones. Rhinestones are not actually usually my go-to, so I have a lot of rhinestones, but they're not my favorite choice. I actually rather enamel dots, but I'm trying to work with my rhinestones and use those up. The little package that I'm using at the moment are all my loose rhinestones, and I really want to try and use those up as best as I can because all the rest are in their proper packaging and therefore are easier to keep together. Whereas these loose ones, they end up losing their stick and falling off and ending up in the bottom of my tub, and oh, it's just a organization disaster. So using a little bit of gold and a little bit of black rhinestones here. And then I am finished, yay! So I hope you have enjoyed this process video. Please, just a friendly reminder to check that description box down below for all of the information and details you might need to see. And hop along to Laura and Danni's layouts so you can check those out as well. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button and hit subscribe if you want to see some more of our Scraptember layouts. Let us know if you're liking this series so far, and we will see you tomorrow for day 11. Bye everyone.